Hi, and welcome to Terribly Fun Films. We have a new nerd show and tell for you. It's been a while since I've done this. There's a lot to show. As always, we're going to start with non-movie items. We're getting right into it. First is the soundtrack to the movie Sing. This is the Target exclusive version that has extra songs. I forget how many, at least 2, 3, 4. I'm not too sure there though. I was really impressed with Sing and really enjoyed the soundtrack. It is a musical after all, so I bought the soundtrack. Is the Wonder Woman pup. It is a Walmart exclusive here, if you can see that. And this one has her holding her shield, standing in a sort of getting ready to sprint position, like when she first leaves the trench to enter no man's land. It's pretty badass. It's the coolest pop I've seen for this character. I like it quite a bit, and it was on sale for $5. It was half off. Now we have 2 books. The first is the Margaret Stohl book, Black Widow Forever Red. It is, of course, about the Marvel Black Widow, and it has Agent Coulson in it, so I'm guessing it's, if not official canon, at least a story that takes place within that same MCU universe, since the character of Coulson was created for the movies. So I'm real interested to see that. It is signed by the author, so that's going to be exciting to read. And next we have something that's kind of interesting in a weird, here's the backstory way. It is the movie novelization of Dragonheart by Charles Edward Pogue, based on his own screenplay for the movie Dragonheart. Probably thinking to yourself, what's so damn interesting about a movie novelization tie-in? Well, how I found out about it, for one. I tweet my movies for the day every single day. I'm doing it for years at this point. So the day I watched Dragonheart, Battle for the Heartfire, which is the 4th Dragonheart movie, a few people liked it. Nothing new there. One of those people, though, was the Remake Dragonheart Twitter profile. I'm like, well, that's weird. I get remakes are kind of a thing, and it would be interesting to see a new spin on that, but we're still getting successful movies within this franchise, as evidenced by the fact that the 3rd film, The Sorcerer's Curse, which is a prequel, got a sequel. So we have Dragonheart, its sequel from 2000, A New Beginning, and 2 prequels, one from 2014 or 15, I forget, and then one that just came out this year. So I'm like, why remake it? We're clearly, it's still working. It's still, you know, making the studio money. There's still fans out there who are enjoying it. So I go to their website to see why they want to remake the film. Apparently, Charles Edward Pogue's original screenplay was much darker, much grittier, much bloodier, much more intense. And that's the version of the screenplay this book is based on. While I imagine there will still be very, very familiar elements, and it won't be too far in terms of plot structure from that sort of thing. Apparently the book is based on his screenplay before directors, editors, on day of rewriting to make certain things make more sense, yada yada, happen. So that'll be real weird to read. That leads us directly into the movies, the pile of fantasy films that of course begins with Dragonheart, Battle for the Heartfire. This is the 4th one. Thankfully, there's not the number 4 anywhere on here. I'm still real miffed at Sorcerer's Curse for putting the number 3 on there, even though A, it's a fucking prequel, B, neither this nor Dragonheart A New Beginning has numerals anywhere in it. A weird fucking choice. This does not, so it's awesome. I've already watched this. I'll be doing a whole review of it later on, as I've already reviewed the other 3 Dragonheart movies. We have the film Enter the Warrior's Gate, aka just the Warrior's Gate. Personally, I think the Warriors Gate sounds better. I don't know why they added the word enter for the North American release, but indeed they did. It does have Dave Bautista here as our main bad guy. It was co-written by Luc Besson, which is why I picked it up. It's an enjoyable little tale. I'll do a full review of this soon as well. Then we have the Blu-ray of the Russian Beauty and the Beastish tale, I Am Dragon, which is remarkable. It's an amazing movie. Then we have the Blu-ray of the Ultimate Edition of Ridley Scott's Legend. This has the director's cut, thank goodness, because for me personally, the director's cut is the infinitely better version of the movie, as is most of the case with Ridley Scott films. If a director's cut is available, it's probably the better movie. Like Kingdom of Heaven's director's cut. Infinitely more interesting, infinitely more characterizations, infinitely more engaging than the theatrical version. That movie still has flaws in the director's cut though, but it at least has a personality, if that makes sense. Same thing here. The reveal of Tim Curry's character is much more interesting. The limerick stuff involving the ghouls and goblins and whatnot creates a very interesting fantasy world that ties into the riddles and whatnot that they ask Tom Cruise's character in order to go save the princess. It's a better movie overall. It's a gorgeous film, so I'm excited to watch it on Blu-ray. Should be a good time. We have Scourge of Worlds, a Dungeons and Dragons adventure. This came out in 2002, I want to say, and is a choose-your-own-adventure movie with terrible CGI. I am going to sit down and review all 3 Dungeons and Dragons live-action films. Yeah, there are 3 of them. The one that got released in theaters, and 2 made for sci-fi sequels. In order to round it out and make it last a whole month, all 4 weeks, I was going to review the Dragonlance animated movie, as Dragonlance takes place in the Dungeons and Dragons universe. But, seeing as how I did that for the DragonCon Countdown, I was like, I know this is a thing. I knew I was able to acquire it fairly cheaply. It cost me $3. So this is now what I'm going to review. I haven't seen it in probably at least 8 or 9 years, if not longer than that. So it'll be interesting to see how that held up at all. And now, just a pile of movies, DVD and Blu-ray, alphabetically. First up is the horror movie Anna. It stars Mark Strong, Tessa Farmiga, and Brian Cox. And that's an awesome cast. It sounded really weird and interesting, so I picked it up. I don't really know too much about it outside of what the back of the box tells me. But Tessa Farmiga was in The Final Girls, and my love of that movie knows no bounds. So I will watch anything with her at this point. Next, we have the animated film The Ant Bully, which sees a kid who's mean to ants get taken down to ant size and forced to work in their colony to no longer be a dick to ants. That is simplifying it. It's a cute little movie. Bruce Campbell does a voice in it, which is awesome. I haven't seen it in years, so I hope it holds up well. Now we have a double pack of 2 Battlestar Galactica movies, the Sci-Fi Channel version of it, and that's Razor and Plan. It is the unrated extended edition of Razor. It is an unrated version of The Plan as well, but I don't know if that was always unrated or not. I'm not sure how I was able to find this for such a good deal, but $5 for the Blu-ray of the Wachowski movies Bound makes me super excited. Bound is amazing and remarkable and brilliant, and I love everything about this film. I've already released my review for this next movie, and I stand by it as one of the weirdest things I'm going to see all year. Bar none, the Asylum's animated movie Cargo. Musical that involves cannibal cars. I got nothing, guys. Like, you just need to experience this for yourself. Even if you hate it, it'll be unlike anything you've ever seen, and it comes from one of the main writers of Pinky and the Brain. So, check it the fuck out, guys. It's something. Also, go check out my review for more information on that. Now we have the IFC/Scream Factory co-production release of the horror movie Don't Knock Twice, starring Katie Sackhoff, which was amazing. I loved it. Loved it. I don't know how I didn't film this. Don't ask. But the Blu-ray of Ed Wood. And it's my second favorite Tim Burton movie of all time. And it's amazing and it holds up really, really well. I helped kickstart this, so I finally arrived the other day. I haven't watched this one yet, but that is Evil Bong 666. It is signed right there, if you can see that. The last Evil Bong movie, High Five, felt very samey to me. It was a little boring. The jokes were obvious and repetitive at this point. So I'm not sure what to make of it, but of course any movie with Robin Sidney is definitely worth checking out, at least a little bit. And I don't know if you guys can see this, but there's a Silver Emulsions quote here and here, I think is the other one. Will over Silver Emulsions is an amazing amazingly awesome guy, great writer, so I'm really proud to see his reviews on here, and if he really loved it, as his reviews are claiming, then I think I'll probably enjoy it quite a bit too. Next, we have the newly released horror film 15 Years in the Making, and I'm not exaggerating, 15 years in the making, and that is The Evil Within, which stars Sean Patrick Flannery and Dina Meyer, and is such an astounding experience that I literally cried watching the film. Not that the film is super sad or anything, just the visuals are so remarkable. The editing and the cinematography and the dreamlike state of everything going on is so fucking brilliantly done that just visually watching the movie moved me to tears. So I'm going to call it now. This will be in my top 2 of direct-to-DVD movies for 2017. It's probably going to be number 1. I really can't imagine any other movie being so visually astoundingly brilliant that it moves me to tears like this literally did. Next, we have a movie I know very little about outside of the fact that it stars a baby-faced Ryan Reynolds. It's called Foolproof. It's about robbing a bank or something like that. And here in the back has this ridiculous scene with lasers going on. I think it takes place in modern day. And now we have Neil Johnson's latest film, and that is Rogue Warrior. Robot Fighter. A long title, a bit clunky. I think just one or the other would have worked better. But I really enjoyed this. That was pretty cool. It's the most like the first Star Wars movie in terms of all the movies I've seen of his. If Alien Dawn is his War of the Worlds, which it very intentionally is. Doomsday, which is my favorite film by him still, is his sort of Star Trek movie. And his 2 Starship Apocalypse and Starship Rising films are his Battlestar Galactica. This is his Star Wars, if that makes sense. I will have, at some point in the future, probably a long ways from now, an entire months-long look at his filmography. I'm going to explore his movies, review them, but then also explore the themes of his movies in depth. We're going to get real critical with all that. I'm doing that with multiple people. I was hoping to start that this year with the Rene Perez films, but due to the superhero rankings list, that got put off. And finally, we have the Blu-ray for the movie The Shadow Effect. My wife and I went to Mr. K's the other day. We traded some stuff in, looked around, got some books, got some movies. As always, you find some things, maybe you're like, I haven't seen it, it's not worth the price, so you put it back. Well, for whatever reason you decide to put a movie back. I then go home and I start looking it up, see if I can find it for roughly the same price online somewhere on the Blu-ray. For the movie Shadow Effect, I cannot find the Blu-ray anywhere. It's not an exclusive at Walmart. They only have the DVD listed. Target doesn't have the movie listed whatsoever. Amazon only has it available to rent or buy streaming, or just to buy on DVD. iOffer and eBay only have it listed on DVD, and a Google search for it on Blu-ray shopping brings up a single review for the Blu-ray, but no way of buying it, which is very confusing. So I promptly turned around, went back there, and bought it, because this probably shouldn't exist. I don't know. It is a region 1 though, so I got nothing. This might be the only copy of this on Blu-ray ever. I know that's a lie. We have the 5-film action sci-fi collection that has the film Slipstream, which is the reason I bought this collection, because I didn't own that movie. Don't confuse this with the Sci-Fi Channel film Slipstream with Sean Astin. This is from the 1980s, stars Bill Paxton, Mark Hamill, and Ben Kingsley. So that's really cool. The other films on this list are The President's Man, which is a Chuck Norris movie, The President's Man, A Line in the Sand, which is the second film in that series, also Chuck Norris, Logan's War, also a Chuck Norris film, and The Final Come Down with Billy D. Williams. Of these, I've seen exactly Slipstream. But $5 for 5 movies, I'm not going to complain. This next multi-pack, I've seen go for above $400 at one particular point. Thanks to careful watching and looking at it often, I was able to get it for about $12 or so after tax. And that is the Ultimate Disaster 4-film pack with a lot of silly B-movies. It has Lost City Raiders, Storm South, Polar Storm, and Quantum Apocalypse. This pack here is the only way I've been able to find Polar Storm, which is why I was looking for it for so long. I actually already owned Quantum Apocalypse, which is a Lee Scott movie with Brett Giles, so of course I owned it, and Lost City Raiders. But for these two harder to find films, Storm Cell and Polar Storm especially, and given that this usually goes for so much more than I paid for it, I figured it was totally worth it. And then I'll just trade those other 2 DVDs in or give them as presents. We'll see how that goes. Next, we have one of Stan Lee's direct-to-DVD animated films that was meant to launch several different things, including a comic, and that is The Condor, which is about a Hispanic American skateboarder whose legs get injured, and so he gets nanobots injected into his legs and becomes a superhero that way. It was better than I remembered, so that was a pleasant surprise. That is Hammerhead. I've seen this with a subtitle before that I believe is Shark Frenzy or something like that. My DVD copy does not have that subtitle on it, so I'm not positive what it was, but I have seen it with the subtitle before. It stars Jeffrey Combs and William Forsythe and is gloriously ridiculous. This is the sort of absurd, silly, low-budget shit I love. Also, a Sci-Fi Channel film. It's about zombies, because of course it is. It's House of the Dead 2. Don't throw your computer out. Don't rewind. You heard proper. House of the Dead 2. Here's the thing. UA Bowl had nothing to do with this. This is a Sci-Fi Channel film. They got the rights to the name somehow. I don't know how. They created a sequel. He didn't write it. He didn't direct it. He didn't produce it. His name shows up nowhere on the back here. Nowhere. So don't worry. It does have a cameo appearance by Walter Jones, aka the original Black Ranger on Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, as one of the zombies. So that's cool. And we have the very low budget, very odd, Twisted Justice, which stars Eric Estrada and Shannon Tweed, and this movie needs to be seen to believe. It's so bad. It's so fun. We have the Blu-ray of the movie The Anomaly. If you've been watching my Nerd Show and Tells for a while, you might go, didn't he already have that? Yes, I did. on DVD. I loved it so much, I needed to get this on Blu-ray. It's so pretty, so well shot. I needed this on Blu-ray, so I turned that copy into a present and got it on Blu-ray. We have a movie a lot of people didn't like, and a lot of people just plain ignored because it flopped at the box office. But, well, I admit, it is flawed. It was very funny, and that is Baywatch with Zac Efron, Dwayne Johnson, and Alexandra Daddario. When it works, it's really, really funny. We have a 3-hour documentary about superheroes produced by PBS called Superheroes. Liev Schreiber is the host, and a friend of mine from college named Alexander Cardia actually worked on this. He had to make an emergency run to Mr. K's. Odd story, I realize. But our friend came down to join us for Dragon Con. She drove from Virginia to South Carolina, where we are, the day before we left. And we were catching up, talking, went out to dinner, and it came up as we got back from dinner that she forgot to bring the things she wanted to get signed. She was going to Dragon Con for basically one person. One particular celebrity was going to be there. She had to meet. Had to. And she forgot the books for that person to sign. So we ran out to Mr. K's, and it's already after 8. They close at 9. But we left with like 10 minutes before they closed, or 15 even. And so that was, you know, pretty cool. I ran into this documentary, and I put it down because it was 3 hours long. I'm then talking to Courtney and Elizabeth about it, and they go, "Oh, isn't that the thing Alex worked on?" I'm like, "Alex worked on this?" Looked on the back, and sure enough, there was his name. So we picked it up for that reason. I haven't seen it yet, but PBS's documentaries about this sort of thing are usually very high quality, very fun to watch. So I'm excited to check that out. I know this is running a bit long for the usual amount of time for a nerd show and tell, and I'm sorry about that, but you know, you take months off from doing this, that is what happens. Thank you so much for watching. I've been your host, Bobby, and I'll see you next time.